One thing that comes up quite a bit in the evaluation of thermal envelopes, what's appropriate for a project or not, is the difference between, say, a prescriptive R value that code is calling for and the R values that are, say, given by B.Public as a modeled R value or an actual R value. There's some common terms for this when it comes to evaluating or distinguishing between the R value of a material that's inserted in the wall opposed to a whole wall R value. And a whole wall R value is the actual performance R value that assembly gives you. And they're sort of dramatically different. For instance, just taking a typical, say, R21 to, say, an R25, but a really common R value, prescriptive call out for residential construction would be like a 2x6 wall assembly. Could have any type of insulation in it, for the most part fiberglass, rock wool, cellulose, denim, there's a bunch of them, and then exterior sheeting, and then a lot of times more and more what we're seeing in our codes is that it's calling for a continuous R value on the exterior, and there's some very good reasons for that. So when we look at this prescriptive, like code is calling for an R21, so if we look at, say, a 6-inch bat of insulation is going to give us around an R19. But because of how much convection occurs through that assembly just by air passing through, say, receptacles or lighting fixtures or anything like that, tremendous amount of convection is moving through it. And so it also is recommending then that there's a continuous insulation on the exterior. And there's some other building science reasons for that as well. But typically the actual performance out of a prescriptive R21 wall assembly would be closer to an R15 if you were actually able to model it. And so all the R values that B.Public publishes and puts out in our literature and what we use for actual performance, they're actually all modeled R value using the Passive House Planning Package, which is such a great tool for really understanding the impacts of R value in framing and wall assembly design. And so all of our assemblies, again, like our R52 wall assembly, or we also have an R35 assembly, which would be this assembly here. When we list those R values, that's the true whole wall R value or performance.